All right, man. Well, here you are out here coaching Brandon Moreno. How did this happen? How did you come to be coaching him for this fight?
Well, Brett, what happened was I talked to Jason House, who is Brandon's manager, and he actually contacted me and told me that Brandon was going to need a coach to help him out to kind of finish the camp. That was probably about 5 weeks ago, I would say. And I've always liked Brandon. He's like the sweetest guy in the world. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't love that kid. Always has a smile on his face. And we knew each other. We had talked, quite a bit at some of the shows and had a relationship. So I told Jason I would do it and came out here and started helping him.
Jason called you, and this would have been like mid-December if it was 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, that's about
early
right.
December?
That's about right. I don't know the exact day, but he asked me about it, and I told him that I would talk to Brandon, and came out here and worked with him to see that if it was going to gel and work. As you know, I kind of stayed away from situations like this and have really kind of brought up my own guys, and that's something that we're really proud of at our gym. But Brandon's a guy that you can't not root for him. And I saw him in need of help and came out and worked with him, and it worked out pretty well, and we just went from there.
You get a call from Jason House saying, would you be interested in coming on? What are some of the first things that go through your head when trying to make that decision?
Well, I don't know about other coaches, but for me, I've got to like somebody. I've got to really like them and kind of believe in what they're about. And I think Brandon, when you look at him, he's a father of 3 girls. I have 2 girls. I see him as a dedicated family man and a guy that's, deeply rooted in character. And for me, that's something that I can appreciate and respect. So that was really my first thought. And then just, trying to help him be the best version of himself. I think as a coach, that's what you really are always looking to do, is help people become the best versions of themselves. And that's kind of what you dedicate your life to. And I feel like, he was just kind of in a bad spot, and I just wanted to be there to help.
Obviously, all situations are different, but you have declined. This is not like the first time you've ever been offered a situation like this, right?
Correct.
Can you talk about some of those, and then when they came up, where they came up, and why you did not want to get involved?
I won't say specifics, but I've had a couple people that were champions that some people approached me about training, and it just I didn't think it would be a good fit for me or for the team. I've got multiple fighters that are now in the top 10 that we've been working for 10 years for this goal to be world champs, and man, I'm just 100% devoted to those guys, and I want to see them get over the hump. And we've put more fighters in the UFC than anyone else through the contender and done some cool things. That's kind of what we're about. So for me, it was never hopping on someone else's work. That's just kind of not my style. But this situation, this isn't Brandon's fault. And Brandon's a guy that I think is just trying to find his way as a young man. And I think that everybody kind of knows, what kind of person he is. And I think that he's someone that just needed help, and I was in a position to help him, and he's a person I feel good about helping. And so that's why I made the decision. And I take every case by case. I've let people come to the gym and train with no money before and win and take no money from them. Trayshawn Gore in his last fight. So, I'm blessed enough to have built up so many different fighters now in the UFC that we are in a place where we can help the people we want to help. But yeah, we usually don't take people on. That's just not our MO at Fortis.
Were you ever close to taking any of those champions? Like, was there ever like?
No.
Really?
I was not close. And I didn't really have many thoughts of Brandon. I kind of go with my gut. That's the type of person I am. And my gut was absolutely. I remember seeing Brandon backstage after he had won the title. And he was helping one of his teammates, and just the passion and the love, and like I could see the nerves. And I told Jason later, because I've known Jason many years, and Jason has been around the game a long time. And I told him, I said, and he doesn't really manage any of my guys. He only manages one, Damon Jackson. So we just know each other. It's not like we have some, working relationship or nothing. I just know him, and I know he cares about his guys. And I told him, I said, that kid that you got, he's got a huge heart. And I told him the story. I said, I'm, just watching how involved he was and how much he cared about his teammate winning. And that's what you want as a coach, because those guys that have character are the guys that build teams, and that's what we're about. So when I saw it and I recognized it, and when he called me about the opportunity, that's kind of right where I went to. He's the type of guy that you want on your team. He's the type of guy that cares about everybody else, and it's one fight at a time. I'm here to help him win this fight. This is his title. This is not a title that I look at as our title or our team's title. I look at it as Brandon's title, and I look at it that I'm just trying to help him, finish kind of what he started. And that's a different position for me, but one that I've taken on, and that has been really, really fun training with him and Capetillo, his boxing coach, world class. Izzy Silva, world class wrestling. His jiu-jitsu coach Hector's excellent. Hoya, his striking coach. So, and then seeing his teammates who love him and these guys that have been living with him. I went over to his house. I go downstairs and there's freaking 6 guys there. Hey coach, what's up? We're ready. And it's a cool story, man. And I just want to help him, write the last chapter.
Was there any hesitation on your part, just from the sense of what you just said, that like this won't be mine? And you've been putting a lot of work towards. You want a UFC champion. You want to coach a UFC championship fight. This is going to be your first time in a UFC championship fight. Like, is there any hesitation of like, I don't want it under these circumstances?
No, because you know what? When you don't have the ego to take it as that it's yours anyway, then what does it matter? When you look at it as this is a good kid and I want to help him fulfill his dream, this is what I'm in the business to do. And everybody knows what I'm about. And everybody knows what I've done and what I've produced, and that I started a gym from nothing, that I had 0 UFC fighters and now we have over 20. Our record on the Contender, going from nothing to having 6 fighters ranked in the top 15 in all different weight classes. These are things we're very proud of that we have done. And I feel like the media has given us a lot of love. I feel like the fans have given us a lot of recognition, and I feel like, the last thing to do is have a champion, right? But in the end of the day, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm not a fighter anymore. It's not about me. I'm 42 years old. If you're 42 years old and it's still about you, then you didn't do it the right way, when you were a young man or a young woman. So for me, I'm in that phase of my life where I'm blessed enough and fortunate enough to have, built this team and this structure, and I can help a guy like Brandon, who is a champion, but I'm not big on, and you know that. And I think that's why I haven't posted about it. That's why I haven't talked about it, because I'm not about that. It's the first time I've talked about it really on camera, and I'm here to help him, finish what he started, and that's really how I look at it.
So you live in Dallas. We're in Vegas. How has this looked over the last 5 weeks?
A lot of trips, man. He is a soldier. Just tell me what to do, coach, and I'll do it. That's what he says. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But after analyzing the situation, I've been doing the show UFC Breakdown here, so I'm kind of here quite often now, a lot more than usual. I'm doing it again this upcoming week. So I've kind of been piggybacking some trips off of that. And also, the guy's got 3 kids. He's got 6 guys living with him in his house. I'm not trying to make him change stuff up the last 4 weeks and move to a different place, or he would do it. He'll do whatever you ask him to do, and that's what makes him a great student. But for me, I didn't think that it was the best thing for him, so I told him I'm going to come out here, and I've been coming out here, and we've had a schedule, and I've been overseeing the schedule and texting all the other coaches and staying in correspondence with everybody. And we've really, from where we started to where we are now, it's been pretty good, and I'm pretty proud of the effort that everybody's put in and kind of have everybody's worked together.
Last thing I'll ask you, because he's trying to distract you here. You're doing a good job of ignoring him.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you knew Brandon. You've watched his fights. So
Yeah.
what stood out to you when you got into the gym with him? Can you talk about just him as a fighter?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think everybody sees the heart on Brandon when they see him, right? They know that he's down and plant his feet and throw down. But I don't know if they see the artistry and the skill and the distance management and the shot selection and just the IQ. What I tell Brandon is, I'm like, you're so smart, because what does Brandon do? He's an analyst. And me doing analyst work as well on the Breakdown show, that's not easy. I mean, you got to be pretty thorough, and you got to really understand all the facets of mixed martial arts, and you got to be able to say them quick. When you're on air and you see something, you've got to be able to read it, talk about it, analyze it, and that takes a mastery level. If you see all the analyst Bisping, champion. Dominic Cruz, champion. DC, champion. Paul Felder, contender. I don't think people realize these guys have a mastery level understanding, and that's the reason why they can sit there and watch MMA. Brandon, champion, analyst. So I want, I want him to trust himself and trust that genius that he has inside him. And I think, at 29 years old, he's starting to flip that switch into a mature champion while still being a great student. Yes sir, no sir. And it's getting the guy to believe in his own brilliance sometimes and say, hey, you know what? You're a great student. You always listen, but man, you need to just go ahead and fly. Take the ball and run. And I feel like that's where Brandon is, and I feel like he's about to do that. And I just want to be here to help him do it.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.